Hi guys, this is learning outcome number 7, where we will cover the pathways and the circuits. It is a very short learning outcome. There is only one slide, but we will talk further about the pathways when we move forward. But this will serve as an introduction for when we talk a little bit more about pathways moving forward. As we know, the central nervous system will contain billions of neurons that will be organized into this very complicated network that's called the neural circuit, and each of which is going to be a functional group of neurons that processes a specific kind of information. We saw when we were covering this image over here with regards to the feeling of the temperature of the water that in a simple series circuit, you're going to have a presynaptic neuron that will stimulate a single postsynaptic neuron. And then the second neuron will then stimulate another neuron, and so on. However, most neural circuits, they're going to be more complex. A single presynaptic neuron, it may synapse with several postsynaptic neurons, such as this arrangement here that's called a divergence, which will permit one presynaptic neuron to influence several postsynaptic neurons, or several muscle fibers, or several glands at the same time. In a diverging circuit, the nerve impulse from a single presynaptic neuron will cause the stimulation of increasing numbers of cells along the circuit. So, for example, a small number of neurons in the brain that can govern, for example, a particular body movement will stimulate a much larger number of neurons in the spinal cord. And then the sensory signals will also spread into diverging circuits and are often relayed to several regions of the brain. And this arrangement has the effect of amplifying, as you can imagine, this signal because it's spreading to more and more neurons. In another arrangement, which is called a convergence, we will find the opposite of what's happening in the divergence, where in this case several presynaptic neurons will synapse with a single postsynaptic neuron, and this arrangement will permit a more effective stimulation or inhibition of a postsynaptic neuron because you have a lot of information to either excite or inhibit that neuron going to that neuron. So it's like all of the presynaptic neurons are telling that one postsynaptic neuron that they should either do this or not do this. So, for example, a single motor neuron that will synapse with the skeletal muscle fiber at the neuromuscular junctions, they will receive input from several pathways that originate in a different brain region. Some circuits, they are going to be constructed so that the stimulation of the presynaptic cell, it's actually going to cause the postsynaptic cell to transmit a series of nerve impulses. And one example of this circuit is what we call the reverberating circuit. So we can see that in this pattern, the incoming impulse will stimulate the first neuron, which will stimulate the second neuron, which stimulates the third neuron, and so on. And branches from the later neurons will synapse with the earlier ones. And this arrangement sends impulses back through the circuit again and again and again. So the output signal may last for a few seconds to many hours, depending on the number of synapses and the arrangement of the neurons in this circuit. But this can't go on forever, so there will be an inhibitory neuron that will be able to turn this reverberating circuit off after a period of time. And among the body responses thought to be the result of the output signals for this reverberating circuit are, for example, breathing, coordinating muscular activities, walking, sleeping, and even short-term memory. So when you have a thought process that's stuck in your brain and you can't get rid of it, that would be a type of reverberating circuit. And the last and fourth type of circuit is what we call the parallel after discharge circuit. And in this circuit, there's going to be a single presynaptic cell that will stimulate a group of neurons, each of which synapses with a common postsynaptic cell. And the parallel after discharge circuits, they may be involved in this precise activities such as mathematical calculations, for example.